Before a barrel of oil ever reaches a trading screen, it is oil, a physical substance pumped from the ground, shipped in tankers, and refined into fuel. This is Chapter 1 of the Commodities module. Energy, metals, and agriculture, the raw materials that producers, consumers, and speculators all trade. The three families of commodities. Here they are. Energy covers crude oil, natural gas, and the fuels that power industry. Metals covers precious metals like gold and industrial metals like copper. And agriculture covers grains such as wheat and corn, and softs like coffee and cotton. Then why they are traded. Hedgers come first. Producers and consumers locking in prices for goods they will actually buy or sell, like a wheat farmer or an airline buying fuel. Against them sit the speculators, traders aiming to profit from price moves without ever using the physical good, with no wheat to sell and no jets to fuel. A commodity is a standardized raw material, and who trades it and why depends on which of those two you are. What separates a commodity from almost everything else is that it is neither a claim nor a promise. It is a real, physical thing that gets grown, mined, drilled, or raised, and that someone actually uses. So what makes something qualify? Any unit is interchangeable with any other. That is what makes a raw material fungible, and it is what lets it trade as a commodity. Take crude oil of the same grade. Barrel A, barrel B, barrel C, and barrel D are all equal to each other. Any barrel of that grade equals any other, and buyers do not care which specific one they end up with. Now compare a stock across three different companies. Company A, Company B, and Company C are not equal because each share is a distinct claim on a distinct business, and they are not swappable. Swap one unit for another of the same grade and nothing changes, and that is what lets a raw material trade at scale. A currency is closer to fungible, but a currency is a medium of exchange rather than something that gets consumed. Commodities sit in a category of their own, standardized, interchangeable, and useful, because someone eventually burns the oil, eats the wheat, or wires the copper into a building. There are three broad groups of them. Nearly every commodity traded worldwide sorts into one of three broad groups. One word, three families. Commodities split into energy, metals, and agriculture. Each splits again, natural gas and crude oil on the energy side, precious and industrial on the metals side, and grains on the agricultural side. Then the softs. Under energy sit crude oil and refined fuels, which power transport and industry. Under metals sit gold and silver among the precious, and copper, aluminum, and nickel among the industrial. Under agriculture sit wheat, corn, and soybeans as grains, and coffee, sugar, cotton, and cocoa as softs. Grouping them this way is useful because commodities in the same family tend to share seasonal patterns, weather sensitivity, and economic cycles. Commodities is an umbrella term. It really means three quite different submarkets, each with its own supply chains and price drivers. Thousands of individual commodities trade around the world, and nearly all of them land in one of those three. So why does anyone trade them at all? A farmer who needs certainty, and a trader willing to bet on where price goes next, locking in a price or taking the risk. Start with the hedger, a wheat farmer. In spring, the crop is planted, with the price unknown and 6 months of risk ahead. So the farmer sells forward, and a futures contract locks in today's price now. Then in autumn, the harvest is sold at that locked-in price, with the risk removed. Now the same contract from the other side. The speculator has no wheat to sell. They take the other side of the farmer's forward sale, holding a view on which way the price will move next, and they profit or lose depending on where the price actually lands. The hedger removes risk they already have, and the speculator takes it on for a chance at profit. Neither party is doing the same job. The farmer is not trying to predict the market. The farmer is removing uncertainty from a business they already run. And the two need each other, because a farmer looking to sell forward needs someone willing to take the other side. Not every contract ends the same way. What happens when a commodity contract actually reaches its expiration date? There are two ways it can end. When the contract reaches expiry, it goes one of two ways. Physical delivery, where the actual commodity changes hands at a specified location and grade, or cash settlement, where the contract pays only the cash difference between the agreed price and the market price. Physical delivery means crude oil tankers and grain elevators, while cash settlement means no physical goods move at all. But the most common outcome is neither, because most individual traders close their position before expiry, avoiding both. Delivery and cash settlement are contract mechanics, and most traders never touch either. Why prices for the same commodity can differ across delivery months is the subject of the next chapter. Before that, one thing worth understanding: how a single commodity price change flows into the cost of everyday goods. One price and ripple effects everywhere. It starts with a shock. The crude oil price rises. From there it cascades in 4 steps. First, gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Second, shipping costs for goods. Third, airline ticket prices. And fourth, heating and manufacturing costs, all of which arrives as consumer inflation, showing up in household budgets. Commodities are physical inputs to nearly everything, so their prices flow directly into the cost of living. That is also why commodity prices expose how connected global supply chains really are. A drought that cuts a grain harvest in one region can raise food prices on the other side of the world months later. Understanding commodities is a genuinely useful way to understand why prices for ordinary things rise and fall, even if you never place a single trade. Next, we look at how these markets are actually structured. You just finished Chapter 1 of the Commodities module. A commodity is a fungible physical good rather than a claim or a promise. Nearly all of them sort into energy, metals, or agriculture. Hedgers trade to remove risk, while speculators take it on. Contracts end in delivery or cash settlement, though most traders close early, and commodity prices flow straight into the cost of living. This is education rather than financial advice. Thank you for watching Trendly Lab. Next up, commodity market structure, covering spot, futures, contango, and backwardation.